Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head down to Huddersfield in Yorkshire once again, and we're going to revisit a brewery who I've reviewed a number of different beers from, but we're going to go back and have a look at one of their core beers today. This is one that I've heard that's very, very good, but I've just never actually seen it in the can to be able to review it for you, but I finally found one of them. So for this one we're going to return to Magic Rock Brewing, who as I say are from Huddersfield, and we're having a taste of the Dark Arts today. So this one's their stout beer, and it comes in, I believe, at 6% ABV. So it should be really nice. This one had a rating of 98 overall on Rate Beer, 96 within the style, and as I say, I've heard some really good things about this beer. This is one that Rob from Hoppy always used to talk about being very good, but as I say, just never got around to trying it, but I'm glad that I'm finally able to have a taste of this beer for you here on the channel. So I hope you guys enjoy my take on this one. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Magic Rock before. No doubt there will be some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, prefecture, county, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the English beers that I've reviewed. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Magic Rock then before we taste the beer. So onto my brewery notes. As Magic Rock, as I've told you quite a few times, Magic Rock Brewing are based in Huddersfield in Yorkshire in England, and they were established back in 2011 by brothers Richard and Johnny Burhouse, although Johnny later left the company, and they were soon joined by head brewer Stuart Ross. So the beer brewing began in mid-2011, and the beers proved so popular that the brewery won the accolade of Best New Brewery of 2012 from Rate Beer. But the brewery was largely inspired by the burgeoning craft beer market in the US, and they've been expanding their capacity and staff steadily over the last few years due to the ever-increasing demand for their beer. But as of 2015, the brewery are based in the Willow Business Park in Birkby, and they now employ well over 30 people. But this new site has a capacity of 10,000 hectolitres per year, and it's got a fermentation capacity of 70,000 litres as well. But they're producing a lot of different beers. They've got their big tall boy cans that they're doing now. They're doing a lot of different collaborations and experimenting a lot with IPAs and things like that, and of course they do every so often do other styles of beer as well. Their main focus, I would say, is the big kind of hoppy IPAs. But Magic Rock, as I've told you before, do some really nice stuff. If you haven't had the chance to try some of their beers, I really recommend that you seek them out, and if you are particularly interested in English beers, then Magic Rock are one of the breweries that you definitely want to seek out. I think this is actually the first dark beer that I'm trying from them, if I remember correctly. So again, this is another kind of new thing for the channel, I guess, because I've really enjoyed the IPAs and stuff like that I've had from Magic Rock in the past. So yeah, that's all you really need to know about the brewery. If you want to learn more, follow them on Facebook. I'll put the link in the description below. You can check out their website as well, and you can just, you know, do a little bit of research on Rate Beer and things. Pretty much, if you choose a beer style that you enjoy from Magic Rock, you are in for a pretty good offering. So yeah, as I say, check out the links and stuff in the description below, but let's get on it to the actual tasting of this beer itself. So as I've told you before, these guys have got kind of two different designs on their cans. You've got the little 330 cans that are like this, that have the sort of original kind of Mad Monster designs on them, and then you've got the big tall boy cans that have the slightly more colourful designs on them, I would say. But these ones, these little 330s, are the original ones that they used to do. I reviewed the first, I think it was the Hypnotist. They put that in a new can, and I reviewed that. I was one of the ones who reviewed that for you early on here on YouTube. But I really like the artwork on these Magic Rock cans. You can see on the back here, there's the Magic Rock symbol, this kind of like gate here, and there you can see they're obviously exporting these beers up to Scandinavia now because they've got the Swedish Krona pant on them. But yeah, really nicely presented beer, this one, as always, from Magic Rock. But yeah, the Dark Arts Surreal Stout coming in at 6% ABV. So yeah, it should be a really nice one. Without further ado then, let's get it open and we'll get on with the tasting. As I say, if memory serves me correctly, this is the first dark beer that I'm trying from Magic Rock, so really looking forward to this one. And as I told you, it's really highly rated. I think it was a 3.8 or so, or a 4.0, something like that it had on Untappd, but very highly rated beer. And again, this is one that Rob from Hoppy always told me was really good. He gave me a row, I remember, in Manchester for not trying this beer when it was on tap because I wanted to go for an IPA instead. But yeah, as you can see with this one, it's poured a really nice dark ebony rosewood colour. There's a solid finger of a frothy, I would say, kind of medium beige tan head on this one. It's not the darkest head I've seen, right enough, but yeah, definitely a fairly dark, you know, definitely a kind of medium darkness head on that one. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there. I would say the colour of this one, if I hold it up to the light, definitely a sort of dark ebony rosewood colour, and I would say maybe it has a little bit of a chestnutty or very slightly ruby edge to it, but you know, it looks pretty much as you would expect from a stout beer. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on with this one. Yeah, so with this one, I would say there's a nice little bit of roasted black malt in there, definitely some brown sugars. The brown sugars are pushing their way out quite prominently on this, but they do smell a little bit roasted. It's more leaning towards the roasty, toasty side of things, this stout, rather than anything else. There is a little bit of chocolate in there, but I would say again, it's quite a high cocoa chocolate. It's not a sweeter or kind of milkier chocolate. Definitely more of a high cocoa thing. There's maybe a little bit of a woody, kind of woody or nutty note to this beer as well. But yeah, a little bit of earthy hop, I would say. Maybe a wee bit of grassiness coming out of the beer as well. And it has a little bit of a fruity character. It's kind of like a candied red fruit that's coming out of this beer, I would say. But the aromas are really quite nice. I would say the fruitiness that's coming out of this one it's almost a little bit like these little, if you take a smell out of the inside of a bag of Haribo or something like that, that's kind of what this beer smells like, a kind of, sort of candied, slightly strawberry-ish note coming off the beer. But I would say with this one, the aroma's not too prominent, if you like. It's nowhere near as kind of prominent or pungent as some of the IPAs that you're going to find from Magic Rock. But if you sugar the beer up a little bit, you start to get the kind of crusty, you do start to get a little bit of a kind of crusty, bready quality to the beer as well. So just pay attention to that. Always take a little bit of a smell of the beer before you actually try it. That's always half the experience when it comes to these craft beers. But without further ado then, let's have a taste of this beer. So this one is the Dark Art Stout from Magic Rock Brewing Company in Huddersfield in Yorkshire. One of their core beers that I've always wanted to try, but it's only now that I'm finally getting around to do it. So let's get stuck into this one then. Slàinte, skål. Ooh, yeah. Right. I'll tell you right away, I can see exactly why that beer is as highly rated as it is. You know, first taste, it's just a really bloody good beer. You know, there's no two doubts in my mind about that. It's really nice. And I say it like I'm surprised, but you know, Magic Rock, you know, definitely a very, very capable brewery. This is a good beer. If you get the chance to try this, have a go at it. It's one of their more common beers, right enough, but, you know, I can see why they keep this as a core range beer. It's really solid. So yeah, it is just really nice that. It almost reminds me a little bit, it's a little bit like Riptide. One of my favourite stouts was always the Brewdog Riptide, but that was a slightly sweeter stout, I would say. This one is kind of like Riptide, but it just leans more towards the kind of roasty, toasty side of things. If I had this beer, you know, quite readily available when I was first starting to drink craft beer, I would have got like really into this one, I can tell. Definitely would have got really into this beer. So yeah, I would say with this one, it's got a nice kind of roasted black malt base to it, but the sweeter elements of the flavour do start to push their way on top of that, but you can feel a little bit of that roasted black malt backbone that it has. So there's a little bit of a nice kind of chocolatey note on top of that. The chocolate in this one is a fairly high cocoa chocolate, I will say that. In the middle of the palate, there's a little bit of brown sugar, but not too much. You'd actually, from the aroma, you would think this beer's got a little bit more of a kind of caramelly and biscuity presence to it than it does. It really leans a little bit more towards the chocolatey side of things than anything else, and it's not quite as roasty toasty as you would have expected either. Although that said, as the flavour kind of progresses, you do move a little bit more into, you do get a little bit more of that kind of roasty toasty quality starting to come out of the beer. But it's really nice. But yeah, I like how everything goes together in this one. It's a really solid stout, this. Said it a few times, but as I say, if I'd tried this beer a couple of years ago, I would have got really into this one. It would have been probably one of my top beers at the time. But yeah, with this one, on the hoppy side of things, a little bit of earthiness in the back corners of the palate. As you come further forward, that earthiness just spreads there. It keeps going along all the way to the front of the palate, then round the very front curve of the tongue, you can just feel a slight little bit of grassiness in there. The malt base, there is a little slight touch of maybe a very slight woody flavour to this beer, but overall, it's really nice. It's just a really solid stout, this one. You know, it has everything you would want from a roasty toasty type of stout. On the fruity side of things then, it's just got a little touch of that kind of slightly candied red fruit. If you just go behind the front curve of the palate, you'll feel that little oily bubble coming out of the beer, and that's where all these fruity esters come out. For me, very slight kind of candied red fruit. There's maybe a little touch of fig to it, if anything else, and if you focus on that part of your palate, you can just feel that there's that little bit of figgy note to the beer. But overall, you know, it's really nice. It's just a really nicely done solid stout, this beer. You know, I could drink a good few of these, and obviously a stout isn't a session beer, but that should hopefully tell you how kind of highly I would rate this beer. I can see exactly why it has the ratings that it does. It's just really nice. If you enjoy a nice kind of roasty toasty stout, then I think you really will enjoy this one. As my mouth is adjusting to the malt base a little bit more, that woody flavour is just kind of lingering there. As you go further into the aftertaste, a bit of the roasty black malts there, some of the earthy hop, and some of the kind of juicy fruit as well. But overall, as I say, it's just a really nice stout, this one. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this again. So in terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say mid-bodied. Yeah, carbonation on this one is mid-bodied. The body of this beer is mid-bodied. The carbonation is quite smooth. It's got quite an oily mouthfeel, this one, I would say, more than anything else. There's a little bit of hoppy bitterness to it. Malt base has a little bit of roasty toasty quality to it. There's a little bit of sweetness in there as well, but I would say the malt base is more leaning towards that roasty toasty side of things. A little bit of juicy fruit character, and the hops, they're a little bit bitter in the back of the palate, but they're more smooth as you come further forward with this beer. But you know, overall, like I say, if you enjoy a nice roasty toasty stout, then I think you will enjoy this one. I would put this beer up with the likes of Riptide. Riptide was one of my favourite stouts, and I can see myself a few years ago getting really into this beer. There's a whole host of other stouts on the market now, so it is very difficult to pick your favourite beer these days because there's so many things kind of jumping about. But this is a really good one, and I definitely wouldn't hesitate to go back to it. I'll maybe need to have a go at this on tap the next time I see it, if I'm down in Manchester or in Leeds or something like that. But it's a really solid beer, and I'm glad that I got to have a go at this. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews then. I hope you enjoyed this one. As always, do let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Magic Rock as well. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual stuff. Check out my social media, and as I say, enjoy some of these Magic Rock beers. Have a go at this one if you haven't had a chance to already. I do need to try and review a couple more of the core beers from Magic Rock. I need to have a go. I think it's the Rapture that's the red IPA. I need to have a go at that at some point in the future, because that's supposed to be a really nice one as well. But I'm glad that I got to have a go at the stout, and I hope you've enjoyed my take on this beer. So until the next time, Slange just now, a really solid roasty toasty stout, this one, and I'm glad that I got to try it. The Dark Arts from Magic Rock in Huddersfield in Yorkshire in England. Slange just now.